Hello, I'm Rebecca Flaherty and today we're back with another trailing floral pattern from the Pattern Maker Canvas Folk Art Florals Series. This template is all about flowing lines and bold folk art blooms, perfect for playful modern designs. I'll guide you step by step through this intermediate level tutorial using the Pattern Maker Canvas template and show you how to swap out any of the floral or critter stamps and make it uniquely yours. And remember, there's a free colour palette in the Pattern Maker's Toolkit, and all the stamp brushes for this set come from my Etsy store with the template layout. Don't forget, you can also share your patterns in the community tab if you want to show off what you've made. Let's get started. Let's get rid of this layer, and this is the template that we're going to be working with today. Turn the sketch diamond on this one. And again, you can use absolutely any of the motifs that you want to for these. There's a whole bunch of flowers you could pick from to go in these shapes. And in these ones here, you could pick one of these cute little bugs to go in it. I'm going to go with this butterfly for those. And for the flowers, I'm going to use this one here. So I'm going to stamp one of these into each of these black flower shapes. And I'm going to start on the draw here first layer. Then I'm going to go around and just rotate these with snapping and magnetics off, so that they line up with the bottoms of the stems like that. Once all of those are rotated around, I'm going to put them in place around the outside before we do the butterflies, because I think that will be easier to see which way we want the butterflies to tilt. So let's merge this down with the sketch diamond. Duplicate that, tap transform, put snapping and magnetics on, and snap this over to this side there. Make sure you've got those orange lines crossing there. I'm going to apologise here for my voice sounding a bit nasally today. This is the third tutorial I've done of this today and my voice is getting gradually worse as I go along. I think this might be my limit for today, and I will attempt to film the rest when I'm feeling a bit better. Once you have all of those in place around the outside, I'm going to invert the colour on those, so it's just the orange ones that we'll be working with. And I'm going to go back down to this one and put the butterflies in these small orange circles. I'm going to do it on a layer above, just because I think it will make it easier to cut around them and turn them round and rotate them if they're not on the same layer as these flowers. Then you can turn snapping and magnetics off and give these a little bit of kind of movement and rotation as well. So it looks like they're all fluttering around among the flowers. So once you've got all your motifs in place, then we can move on and start tracing over them. So let's turn the pattern folder on and let's turn the opacity down on some of these things and change the blend mode to multiply. So the first stem that we're going to draw in is this one in green, and that goes from here all the way down to here. So that's the first one that we draw in here for this trailing floral pattern, and we want to use the outliner brush. So I'm going to adjust it so that I've got as much as I can on view. Nice smooth line down there, and then stop just when you get to the end. Then we're going to put a mark off each of those corners. Duplicate, tap transform, and we're going to snap one up into this corner. So that'll be in place for putting that one in, and then another one down into that corner. We'll need that one there for when we draw the extra group, and we need this one here for putting this line in now. So you can pinch those top two together and then come down onto the layer with this on, and you can just draw these stems in now. So we'll do this one first. Try and stick as closely as you can to the dotted lines, especially where they merge. Then you can blend that one in perfectly there, and then this bit will be done in the extra section later. So once that's done, you can then just work your way around the rest of the black stems. Once all your stems are in place, you can then add in the leaves as well. So now it's just a case of tracing all over the stems like this and then filling them in with colour drop. Then we can add a layer above. Then I'm going to trace over these middle leaves in that same green colour, like that. And then go and repeat that for all of those as well. I'm making sure that I do these flowers, even though they don't have stems attached to them at the moment. They're going to be drawn in the extra group, but the circles for these flowers are in black, so we do those on this layer. Let's carry on working on this one. So I'm going to add a layer underneath, and I'm going to use this mid-green colour to do these petals that fall behind. Then we'll add a layer underneath those again and use this light pink colour to do this middle one. Add another layer underneath and we'll use this cream colour to do these bottom petals. Make sure you close those groups off so you can use colour fill on them. Add another layer at the bottom and we'll use yellow to do these lines. Then add a layer above that and we'll use the colour shifter and use yellow and pink, so set those as your two colours, and we'll use that to add some different coloured dots to the top there. So work your way around all of the flowers, doing all of those bits on separate layers. Let's change our background colour to this nice green. Let's do our butterflies now, and we're going to use the symmetry tool for this. So let's add a layer. Let's group all the flowers together first. Add a layer at the top here. And let's go to our canvas actions, turn on the drawing guide, edit the drawing guide, make it symmetrical. Let's grab the green node from up there, bring it down so it's in the middle. Put the blue one on the bottom of your butterfly and line it up like that. So you've got one on that little dot and one on that dot. Then you can say OK to that. Turn on Drawing Assist for this layer. Make sure you've got Drawing Assist on for this layer and we can start drawing the butterfly now. So I'm going to use this orange to do the bottom wings. Add a layer, make sure Drawing Assist is on, and I'll use the pink to do the next set of wings. Add another layer, make sure Drawing Assist is on, and then we'll do the body. Then I'm going to go back down to this pink layer. I'm going to use my thinner brush, grab the pink again, and just draw some flower motifs on this wing here. Add a layer, make sure you've got Drawing Assist on. Do some yellow on there. Add a layer underneath again, make sure you've got Drawing Assist on. I'm going to draw some flower petals in there. You can have fun here and kind of do whatever you want on your butterflies. Then I need to add another layer to do some in orange on top of this one. Make sure drawing assist is on. And then go back onto the yellow layer to do the centre bits. Let's move this one underneath those two. And finish off the flower on this layer too. And there's our first little butterfly. Now, here's the thing. What you can do is group these all in together, duplicate the group, flatten it, and then you can use that to put the other butterflies around the canvas. So, like, let's do this one here. Rotate it and use that to do the rest of the butterflies. The only problem with that, if I bring this one back over here and zoom in there, you can see that this butterfly is a little bit more fuzzy, especially like compare that to the definition there. It's going to get fuzzy every time you rotate it. So I prefer, although it takes forever, I prefer to go back to this. So start on the bottom layer again, go and edit my drawing guide, zoom in and move on to the next butterfly, adjust it and then draw that again, starting on this layer, and then just draw a fresh butterfly each time. However, I know that takes a while and that's a lot of faff. This decision is totally up to you. If you don't mind that that is a little bit fuzzy, that's absolutely fine. If you are going to go that route, what you need to make sure you do is that you always duplicate off this bottom group. Don't copy a copy and rotate it, because what you'll notice, just put it this way up so we can see them all together, is that it will get even more fuzzy each time you rotate it. So if you do want to duplicate, flatten and rotate them, always work off this original copy. Don't copy copies. Or if you do want them all to be pixel perfect, then you can adjust the lines of symmetry for each one. A third option, which might work for you if you use a kind of a hybrid workflow like I do sometimes, using Procreate alongside either Photoshop or Affinity Photo, is you could send this as a PSD file over to either of those pieces of software at this point, and you could use Affinity or Photoshop to duplicate the copies of this around the canvas, because those are much better at interpolating the pixels. They have kind of different processing power to Procreate. I absolutely love Procreate and kind of almost wouldn't change it for the world. It's great at what it does, but you know, moving and transforming isn't one of its strengths, whereas Affinity Photo and Photoshop can both do that. So at this point you could send this over, duplicate that around the canvas and then send it back into Procreate to carry on doing the drawing, or just leave this step as it is, send it over unfinished, and then if you are finishing on the computer anyway, you could do that. I think what I'm going to do is cheat and use Photoshop and send it back over, and then I'll pick up from there. So this pattern is almost done now. All that's left to do is this part in the extra group. I'm going to get rid of that for now. So let's swipe down with 3 fingers and copy all, and then come up here and turn on the extra group. I'll turn off the pattern, tap on the extra marker, swipe down with 3 fingers and paste. I'm also going to turn off the drawing guide because we don't need that now. I'm going to duplicate this, tap transform and snap it over to this edge there, and then this one over to this side. And what I'm also going to do is bring these 2 edges up to where they're meant to be. So I'm going to pinch those together, duplicate this again, tap transform and snap it up into this corner here. So we've got that piece added in. Set the blend mode to something like multiply or color burn. Multiply is probably the best one to use because then you can see what's underneath as well. And then you've got these 2 parts in that you can see for blending your illustration with. You can pinch those together, add a layer, And we're just going to draw these stems in now. So you can make sure you merge in there and then down in that bit as well. And then you can add the leaves in. Now we have that, we can duplicate that and bring that little copy up to the top to use when we put the pattern together. We can hide the extra group now and hide that for now. Turn our pattern on, and I'm just going to add a few little dots before we build out the tile. So I'm going to add a layer at the top of the pattern group, and I'm going to switch between pink and yellow and use the colour shifter dot brush for this. So let's build out this pattern tile now. Let's hide everything except our pattern group, swipe down with 3 fingers and copy all. Bring that up to the top, swipe down again and paste. Then we can hide our layers, put the background back on, and let's first of all put this back in place on the edges. So mark off this corner and that one, duplicate, snap half over here and the other half over there, merge those together, just erase those marks. Then you need to make sure this is underneath that pattern section, just in case you've got any of those stems poking out from under the leaves. Then you can merge those together, put marks back on the corners again, and then we can build out the tile. Make sure you're checking for snapping each time you do this. Make sure, like here and here, that you've got everything in the right order so that you don't have any stems overlapping flowers. These are looking okay, so that's all right. So you can pinch those together and then erase those marks and these ones, and then we can test how this is looking in repeat. So we're going to swipe down with 3 fingers, copy all, come up to the top here and paste, add a layer underneath. I'll just merge those together. I'm going to fill this layer with orange, invert the colour so it's something that will contrast, tap on this layer, bring it up into the middle, 1800 pixels, duplicate and bring this over to the edge, and then we're just going to check this seam and make sure that all our motifs are lined up and we've got no gaps. Pinch those together, duplicate and do the same, snap that down there and check this horizontal seam to make sure that's all alright. And that's how this pattern is looking in repeat. Don't forget to post your trailing floral creations in the community tab. I really want to see everyone's unique takes on this. Templates and stamp brushes are over in my Etsy store, and the free colour palette and a couple of floral layout patterns, if you want to have a go at making a free version of this, are available in the Pattern Maker's Toolkit. The Pattern Maker's Toolkit is a creative space for your pattern making journey, filled with brushes, palettes and resources to follow along and stay inspired. It's free to join, and the monthly email is the only place to get your hands on the free stamp brush sets to follow along with the cozy colouring time lapses this year. You'll also get 10% off all the premium templates in my Etsy store, early access to some YouTube tutorials, plus all the free brushes, palettes, templates and mock-ups in the resource library. Think of it as your monthly dose of colour, fun and pattern making chaos. If you'd like to join, just follow the link in the description. That's all for this week. Have fun, stay creative, and I will see you soon.